This whole Bitcoin thing is just a stupid fad, man. It took me all day to find some asshole dumb enough to sell me 2 pizzas for it.
From Acapulco, Mexico, this is Anarchast.
Hey everyone, Bitcoin from Bitcoin and Friends here. We just wanted to say thanks to Jeff for having us on the show. And if you haven't subscribed, we'd highly recommend it. I personally just subscribed and I just love this channel already. And I hope you enjoy the interview with one of the show's producers, Broccoli Rob and Jeff Berwick.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. I'm in a strange room actually in Las Vegas in the Rio Hotel. Kind of feels like a lot of people have died in here, but that's a whole other story. But really happy. This gentleman drove out from Los Angeles just to do this interview, and it's because we were talking because he is one of the people who created Bitcoin and Friends show. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to play just a snippet of it right now.
Please, dude, I can't do this without you.
Harold, I said no 1,000 times.
This whole Bitcoin thing is just a stupid fad, man. It took me all day to find some asshole dumb enough to sell me 2 pizzas for it.
Harold, you know this movement just began, right? You have to give it time.
Dream on, bro. My Bloodcraft gold is worth more than this shit.
If you won't give me a chance, Bitcoin, I'll find another way.
So as you can see, it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you gotta check it out. I really don't watch hardly anything. Like I just don't, no Netflix, nothing. But when I saw this, I was like, this is awesome. I could totally watch this. So wanted to have you on. I want to get into, who's all involved and what's going on. But the first question, as you know, I didn't even say your name, did I? Robert Allen.
That's okay.
His name's Robert Allen. And the first question I have to ask you is, how did you become an anarchist?
Okay, so the short version is I moved out to New York after college to teach, and like a lot of people out of university, I was a little bit brainwashed into thinking that the problem with the public school system was that they needed better teachers, not that the system was broken. So I went and joined the New York City Teaching Fellows. So it's sort of a bleeding heart kind of thing where the idea is you're going to go in and help these disadvantaged kids. And so I did that for 3 years. By my 3rd year, I just realized time and again that the system was designed really to not to educate, but to actually kind of control minds in many ways. To dive into that subject more, I really like John Taylor Gatto. Dumbing Us Down is a great book. So anyway. Long story short, that was an eye-opening experience. Around that same time, I ran into videos of Ron Paul during his campaign in 2007 for president, and was immediately taken by his arguments and just his frankness and his ability to just really speak truth. And that was very refreshing. I'd never really seen a politician behave in that way. So that got me, kind of moving in the direction of libertarianism and reading. And so then I picked up books by Mises and Rothbard, and For a New Liberty especially, I think was probably the book that really kind of clicked in my brain, realizing that really all the functions that government offers can be provided by the market in a better, more efficient, safer manner. And of course, from theory to practice, I think we still need to test things and prove things. As anarchists, we've got a lot to show the world in terms of what we can offer. But yeah, that was the beginning of my journey in that direction. And I think once Bitcoin came along, I realized that maybe in the past we didn't have the tools we needed to actually achieve a really free and decentralized and open and non-coercive society, but I think we're getting there. And so I think part of the puzzle piece for anarchy, in my opinion, is technology, and is finding ways to mitigate the need for government in the traditional sense. So.
Yeah, totally. So another tick box for Ron Paul.
Yeah.
It's probably been the most answered of all the questions of almost 500 people on this show now, and I haven't added them all up, but I'm pretty sure Ron Paul has been the number one reason that a lot of people became anarchists. And you've been to Anarchapulco a few times, and he's spoken the last few, and we're hoping again next year. So, and that's part of the reason why, is because he did wake up so many people. And then you went on to work with Peter Schiff, someone I call Peter Schill sometimes, kind of just joking. I'm actually, just so you know, I'm going to be on a panel with him at Freedom Fest coming up in July about Bitcoin, so that'll be interesting. So you moved on, and then you're working with Peter Schiff, who's quite libertarian.
Sure.
And then, of course, he's involved in gold, which is sort of like the old style cryptocurrencies, right? It's the alternative money for outside of the central bank system. So did that also kind of coalesce some of your views on things?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I learned a lot more, obviously, about economics as I was working in that industry. So again, reading and just researching sound money has been a big passion of mine, and understanding the ins and outs of kind of why the United States fell out of that system, and the repercussions, and the the growth in disparity between the ultra wealthy and the rest of the country, and a lot of that being the result of inflationary monetary policy. And so the ills of it, that all became more and more obvious as I studied. But yeah, so I love Peter Schiff. He's he's kind of become a little bit of a curmudgeon as he's gotten older. But I wish he would read a little bit more Austrian school thought on. Basically, he kind of rails on and on about money needing to have intrinsic value. But I'm pretty sure Rothbard argued that all value is subjective, and I think that's the better take on that whole subject. So nonetheless, we'll see. Maybe someday he'll come around to Bitcoin. But I did, when I worked there, the last thing I did before I left was convince Peter to accept Bitcoin for gold and silver precious metal purchases. So,
which he actually gets ribbed about a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever he says something about Bitcoin, it's like, why do you accept it at your place then?
So perhaps he hates me now. I don't know.
Your fault, but that's cool. So I'm curious, before we get into the show, and I totally want to get into the show, I haven't heard the full story. Actually, it sounds so interesting. You haven't mentioned you have any sort of background in doing shows and stuff like that, so I want to hear the whole story. But let's just go, so you're, you woke up a bit, you're a bleeding heart kind of person, you realize the whole system's screwed, then you got into Ron Paul, Rothbard and all that, then you're working with Peter Schiff, you're in the gold business. So when did cryptocurrencies come into your life?
So I went to Porcupine Freedom Festival in 2011, so pretty early, and I remember seeing people, offering goods and services for sale for Bitcoin. Obviously, gold and silver were big then as well. So that was the first time I encountered Bitcoin. Unfortunately, as many people have been in the same kind of boat with me, I didn't really pay close enough attention. I quite frankly thought that, before Bitcoin, there was no such thing as digital scarcity. And so I, didn't imagine that problem had been solved, or, my brain couldn't conceive how that could be solved. So I figured, well, this is just some kind of, fake money, and that you can just be created by whoever, whenever, just like any other digital item that you can copy and paste, So I didn't really take enough time to look into it. So, then around 2013, as the price was going up, like a lot of people, I started to think, well, why has this technology become so much more valuable over the last couple of years? Maybe I should actually look at it. So I read the white paper at that point, and like a lot of people, it's a really elegant, simple, and non-technical document that I think most people really can understand. So, as I read and pondered it, it finally clicked, and I realized that that Bitcoin was likely to replace gold as as basically the de facto store of value for people who are trying to navigate away from government money. And when I realized that, I started to lose my appetite for precious metal sales, and so then I started looking around, and I ended up been developing software now for a couple years. So I started getting into software development related to Bitcoin, and I've done that for a while. And so that's kind of my way into Bitcoin.
All right, so it leads me to the question that I've been wanting to know is, so where did you come up with this idea for Bitcoin and Friends, and where did it all start?
Okay, so, I can't take credit for the idea, at least not the lion's share of the credit is to the creator, director, writer, Chris, Uncle Chris. I don't know if we're saying our real names yet, so
I'm used to it on this show. Yeah.
So, but anyway, Chris approached me in I think it was January 2018, so a little over a year ago. And Chris and I are actually brothers, so I've known him for a little while. And so I've worked with him on film projects and video production things over the years here and there, more so in a supportive role to kind of help him in terms of what his passion is. And so he approached me with the idea for a show based around this kind of personified Bitcoin network. So a character that is the network. And then I think one of the first things he told me was that, so the character is going to puke up the Bitcoin block reward, physically vomit it up. And so that immediately I was like, oh, this is a genius idea. This is really cool. And then we started getting into character ideas and story arc ideas and so on. And it just became very obvious that we had to do the show, and there's just so much in the history of Bitcoin and crypto to explore, and it's also a technology that is really hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around, and so we're hoping that we can entertain and also educate a little bit along the way as well, and hopefully just pull a lot of people into Bitcoin.
That's great. So you're basically your brother, Uncle Nick.
Uncle Chris.
Uncle Chris, sorry.
That's okay.
Is more like the creative guy behind it all. He came up with the ideas and all that. And I know there's a few other people involved. I think you got some maybe voice people. And what exactly is your kind of role in it?
Yeah, so I mean, I've helped with some of the story writing as well and so on, but the lion's share of that is definitely Chris. So then we also have Jake, Jumper Jake as we call him, and because he's really bad at basketball, so it's kind of, But anyway, Jake does a lot of the editing for the episodes, and he also does some of the voicing and production work, producing the show. I am in the kind of producer role, which is, for an early project like this, it's doing everything from interviews to making sure the money is sent to the right person to for payments, and I guess I see myself as trying to support Chris as much as possible wherever he needs support, and we've been scaling up our production team. We now have I think 4 or 5 illustrators and 5 or 6 animators that we are working with. Chris and Jake are doing most of the voicing, although we did bring on PD Pablo, which he's like a fairly famous rapper from the, I guess, what was maybe 90s is when some of his big songs came out.
PD Pablo, yeah.
Freak a Leak is his most famous song.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that one.
The only thing I know about rap is in the 80s and 90s. So.
Yeah, the good era, right?
Yeah, when it was decent.
So, so we got PD voicing Jones, who's sort of kind of like Bitcoin's sidekick in a lot of ways, and and we're going to bring some more voice actors on, obviously, as we go, and some, there's plenty of other people in the crypto story that we want to get involved. The first episode we have Metallic, who's sort of a reference to a well-known character in the space. So we're gonna have fun. I mean, we're trying to balance between, we want to tell some of the story and history, but obviously we have a personified Bitcoin character and a lot of weird stuff that is completely out of reality. So in a lot of ways we want it to sort of rhyme with history as opposed to actually retelling it, and we think that'll be more compelling. And
it looks really pro and it's really well done, and you've obviously got a lot of people involved. How are you able to do this? How are you financing it, or is everyone just volunteering at this point, or?
Yeah, so it's really a labor of love. The first episode was self-financed. Chris and I did that. We also spent more money than we should have, and so but that's a lot of times when you get started into something new, you realize as you progress how you can, reduce your costs. So first episode was about $40,000, $45,000. Episode 2, I think we're going to be looking at about $28,000 $100,000 to produce it. So we've almost halved our production costs, so that's a good sign. I think it's probably going to not be much less than that moving forward. We've kind of hit the bare minimum. But yeah, so self-financed. Second episode, we did fundraising both from the community, and we also have 2 sponsors who paid us to be on the show. So we actually raised the bulk of that 28, not quite all of it, but most of it, which is really encouraging. And so our hope is that as the show grows, we can get, eventually we'd love to be in a position where we just have sponsors, 1 or 2 sponsors per episode, and they're able to foot the bill, and it's a win-win. We bring them eyeballs and, and a cool project to be associated with, which I think there's got to be something to be said for, kind of street cred if you're behind something fun. So
yeah, totally. That's great that you're already almost in the black on it. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very encouraging. I've been involved with a lot of entrepreneurial projects, and this one has picked up really quickly. So
that's great. How has the response been for you? I haven't checked to see how many views or anything. I don't know. I've just seen. I saw the first episode, and you put out some stuff every now and then, like the vlog or whatever. Yeah. But I haven't looked into it to see how popular it is or anything. But how has the response been?
So episode 1, we're getting close to 250,000 plays. So that's pretty good. And then the vlogs, we're trying to do like 1 a week, and those are usually just to update people on progress with the show, but also sometimes we'll throw in current event things, or just try to put some fun content out on the regular to keep people interested. So we'll keep doing that. But I mean, if according to we've got some sites that make projections for you based on your views and stuff, and we'll see if any of that comes true, but it could be big, basically, based on what we're seeing. So that's
50,000 for the first episode, and no one knew who you guys were. Anything like I was actually a little bit surprised when I saw it, because I was like, whoa, this is really pro. It's really well done. These guys are really good. And I didn't even know it existed. Like, I'm quite involved in the crypto space. I would have thought I would have heard about it or something. So you guys kind of came out of the blue and already have pretty decent views. And I think if you're into crypto, this is going to be like your favorite show. It's just hilarious if you're into crypto. And even if you're not into crypto, you might like it. I don't know. I don't know how it'd be if you're not into crypto, but as a crypto person, and there's lots of crypto people out there, so I could see it really growing.
Yeah, we want it to be accessible for people who are not in crypto, and so while obviously it deals with the technology, we really are focusing on Bitcoin as a character, and as so we see his development as a person through the show, and so bottom line is we really want it to be compelling and fun for really anyone to watch, and I think we're getting there.
It's great. And a lot of the kids nowadays, because that's where I think a lot of your audience is going to come from, is younger people, right? Yeah. They're aware, most of them, a little bit about crypto. So I think you can totally get a way bigger audience going here. Do you have any kind of like hopes or plans or ideas? I don't even know how that sort of business works, but are you thinking like maybe it'll be on Netflix one day, or is that something that you're kind of looking at?
So we've been approached by some like, I don't know, what would you call them? Agents, I guess, who do placements of shows.
Agents.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean,
already? It's just the first episode. The CIA is like, knock. You can't say that.
No. Thankfully, none of that's happened. But no, I mean, in the entertainment industry. So, we'll see what happens. They're very excited to try to shop it to Netflix and so on.
That'd be awesome.
And I think we'd be for sure open to that discussion. My sense is that it may be a bit of a stretch to get on, at least at this point, to get onto a mainstream platform like that, just because the content and crypto is kind of antithetical to a lot of sort of mainstream thought. We'll just see. But in terms of our goals, we have 3-season outline, which is a very nice story arc, that kind of wraps up. And so the plan at this point is to produce 28 episodes, 24 episodes, 8 per season. And beyond that, it's possible, we could do spin-offs or continue with the show if it's successful and we feel like we have more to say. But of course, there's always the danger that you're just making something just to make it, and obviously we don't want to do that.
That's way down the road.
But anyway. We got some time.
Yeah. That's cool. Is there anything you want to let people know about it, or like, just anything you want to say that we haven't said about the show so far? is there any way that people can help other than watching it? You said you raised money for the first few episodes. Are you going to continue to do that?
Yeah, we're going to continue to take donations. So if you go to btcandfriends.com, you can see our donation page, and we accept a bunch of different cryptocurrencies and assets for donation. So yeah, we're also doing, we call it a community award. So basically, whichever crypto asset donates the most will be, given the gold medal and so on. And we just actually released a vlog for the episode 2 community awards. So it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and library credits was number 3 for the library platform. I'm sure you're familiar.
I've heard of it,
yeah. So our videos are on there as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for, we're still looking for support, financial and otherwise. So, if people think they could be of help, please reach out. We're definitely focused on Bitcoin, but I would also say that, we're not like a Bitcoin maximalist show in the sense that I do think competition is healthy, and I think it's good that there isn't just Bitcoin, and so it's good to have different implementations of the technology. So we're going to have Ethereum in the show eventually. I think this season, maybe it's episode 4 or 5, she's introduced. It's going to be a female character. So it's sort of like a love interest for Bitcoin. That'll be very interesting. Litecoin is going to make an appearance. I don't want to spoil how that goes, but it's going to be funny. And we'll keep other projects and other things coming into the show as it progresses. So yeah, we're just really thrilled and humbled that people have received the show so well, and very excited to continue producing.
That's great. And you told me earlier that you've gone to a few Anarchapulcos, and you actually previewed something for Bitcoin and Friends in Anarchapulco this year, and I didn't even know about it. I was like, what the heck? How did I miss that? So that's cool. So maybe we can do something next year as well.
Yeah, no, full disclosure, you actually spoke before it, but I think you were like hungry and rushed off to lunch. And then they played it. Yeah, it was in the crypto room.
Oh, I just had to get out there because I could just see everyone coming with their cameras.
They were coming for you, right? Yeah, you were like a deer in the headlights.
Shake hands for like hours.
No, it's totally understandable. But yeah, so we played it for a decent sized room. It was really nice
Cool.
to do it there and get some initial feedback was very encouraging. So
cool. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to go well because it's really good. And who knows? Maybe next in Acapulco we can do something. A screening of something or whatever. But definitely, I love the show. I think it's great. And so if anyone out there, if you're into crypto, you got to check it out. We'll have the links down below. Is it just on YouTube, or where else can people find it?
So please follow us on Twitter, BTC and Friends on there, Facebook. Let's see, episode 2 is coming out this Saturday the 15th, so just in a couple days here. I'm not sure when this will air, but
we'll try to get this out beforehand if we can.
Okay, good. So, well, either way, it'll be shortly after you watch this video, or it's already been released. But one way or the other, go check it out. We're really excited. We think the production quality is actually quite a bit higher on the second episode, even than the first. So yeah, we're learning and growing as we go, and it's going to be good.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put the links to everything down below. And like I said, if you're into crypto, you got to check it out. It's hilarious. I think it's going to do really well. Just I'm no expert on these things, but I have seen a number of things. I remember even South Park. I was around. Man, it must have been like 1996, and we were on like 2 megabit or 1 megabit lines back then.
Right.
And all my computer nerd buddies were passing around these little episodes that it took us like hours to download, and it's like such bad quality. But it was like South Park; they started that way.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think they got on some TV show or something after that. But so a lot of these things just kind of start that way, and I can just totally see that this could do really well, and I hope it does because it's really good. So we'll put the links to all that down below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and that's it for Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Anarchapulco, it's so hype, I'm trying to tell ya. This the event of the year and best vacation ever. Ron Potter, Jeffrey Tucker, just to name a few. Get your tickets, you don't want to miss it. You should roll through, talking politics to health and self-improvement to investing. So many things, not one thing. Learn how to live life unchained, yeah. 4 days vibing on the beach, time to connect. All about growth, way more than a conference. This is Anarchapulco, yeah. Let's go.
You ain't seen nothing yet.